Hello, princes and princesses of the internet. This is Taylor, and I'm doing another Twitter topics and questions. If you want to get involved in this, follow me on Twitter and tweet topics and questions when I request them. Chances are you're going to get them answered. I felt really bad because I got a ton of them yesterday when I requested it, and I didn't get close to covering like even a tenth of them, and so I'm going to try and get through some more of those because I felt bad because I tell you guys to suggest topics all the time, and I'd feel like a dick if the same people always are giving me topics right away, and I just don't ever get to them because they get flooded. So I wanted to try and get through more of these. So let's get it going. Tap 127 wants to know, what would you do if you had Wolverine's mutation and an adamantium skeleton? I think that answer is pretty much obvious. I would completely keep it a secret. I wouldn't tell anyone about my ability ever, which would mean that I'm pretty sure Wolverine also lived like a bunch of different lives and stuff. I think that was part of the movie where he was like fighting all the different wars, so I'd have to keep it a secret. I wouldn't want people to know my power, and then I would join the UFC, and I would just dominate the UFC. Nobody could beat me. I would just obliterate them. Like, physically, I'd be so much weaker than someone like Brock Lesnar, but because of my adamantium skeleton, it'd be like, shapow! Like, one punch to the face. Bam! Out. And that'd be pretty badass. Of course, I'd probably have to, get over. I'd have to find some way to sneak onto, into the actual ring, because otherwise they'd figure out when they're weighing me, they'd be like, all right, let's have this person who's 6 feet tall and appears to be normal build. Oh, look at that. They weigh 900 pounds. That's pretty normal. So I'd have to work through that. But I mean, as far as superpowers go, that'd be a pretty shitty one, because you'd have to live and see all of your family members die and everything, and everyone you ever knew and loved pass away and become nothing more than a faded memory, which would really suck, but hey, as long as you're living in a day and age when you can make millions of dollars as a UFC fighter, it's something I'm willing to deal with, Sue me, so good question. Free Cool Stories wants to know, has gaming helped you earn any friends that you've gotten pretty close to or talked to often after playing with each other? Honestly, the friends that I've made through this whole YouTube thing and gaming, I talk to on Skype way more often than I actually play with them. I honestly can't remember the last time I got on Xbox and played with, like, Onslaught, T-Mart, Woody, Wings, Kyle, any number of people. Actually, that's not true. I played with Kyle recently, but for the most part, I really don't play Call of Duty with many people. Really, most of the contact that I have with these people are just with the friends that I've made, and I talk to them on Skype all the time. So really, that's about it. It's kind of cool that I made friends through it, but at the same time, it's not really like I made friends through the gaming aspect of this, if that makes sense. I just kind of naturally acclimated to people that I got along with, and now I keep in touch with them as much as possible. But yeah, it's definitely been cool to meet people that I otherwise wouldn't have met. Like T-Mart, he's like a couple of years younger than me, I think, in Champaign, Illinois. Never would have met him otherwise. Woody, 38-year-old, living in one of the Carolinas. There's no way I would have met him otherwise. So it's pretty cool. North Carolina, by the way. I knew. I knew. So anyway, next one. Danny DLM, Danny Dim, maybe it's Danny Dom. A topic, your opinion on kids 13 or younger, parents letting them play games that are made 18 plus. That's really interesting. I've gotten a lot of people recently asking about how I feel about parents allowing their kids to play mature games at a young age, which I don't really know. Maybe there's something in the news that's been popping up about this, like more people condemning video games for causing violence. I really don't know. I haven't kept up with gaming-related news. But as far as like allowing your kids to play games like that, like I think it's all up to the parents. Like there's no way that the government, with its arbitrary age-based ruling, can possibly have the same amount of knowledge that a parent would. Like it's for the same reason that all arbitrary age-based cutoffs are so stupid. There are plenty of kids out there who are probably 18 or 19 years old who are mature enough and completely capable of handling alcohol and being able to buy it. That's understandable. There are a lot of 18-year-olds who are perfectly mature and capable of doing that. At the same time, there are a lot of 23-year-olds who abuse alcohol horribly and should not have any ability to buy it. Like, it's not based on your age. It's not like you suddenly wake up at the age of 18 in the United States and you're like, you know what? I can handle tobacco now. I can handle that responsibility, or whatever the case may be. And so for me, with anything that's arbitrary and age-based, you really have to take it with a grain of salt, because not everyone is made equal. People mature at different rates, and to pretend that everyone is just magically okay with some content or some substance as soon as they turn a certain age is pretty ignorant and stupid. And so as far as issues like video games go, I think it should be up to the parents, since clearly the parents know a lot more about the inner workings of their child's mind than EA or some game designer like that. So that's how I feel about that, Danny Dim. Tempri 5150 wants to know problems in studies that suggest a causal connection between violent video games and aggression. Wow, 2 in a row. There's got to be. Okay, I'm going to have to look this up or something, because there has to be some sort of story, because no way are people just asking me this out of nowhere, because I never get these questions before. 2 days ago, nobody gave a fuck about how dangerous video games were. As far as causal relationships between video games and aggression, I mean, it seems like you're guilty of special pleading when you talk about that in regard to video games, because very rarely are people making a big scene about, oh yeah, the violence in TV is really making a big difference, or oh the violence in advertising, or oh, violent books that kids are reading, yeah, that's dangerous too. It just seems that mostly because video games are the most overt example of ways to, introduce violence into your I guess, daily regiment, if that even makes sense. Just because that's the most overt and obvious way, it seems like it gets picked on way more than anything. But I mean, it's no more dangerous intrinsically than a really violent book or something like that. The point is, with me, is that it's difficult to find a causal relationship, because it seems as though the people who are going to go crazy are more likely to, grasp towards those violent games, as opposed to people who like violent games suddenly becoming engrossed with this idea of hurting someone, if that makes sense. In other words, you're more likely to, be born a psychopath or a sociopath and have a video game, unlock that desire to hurt someone, than you are to just arbitrarily like, oh yeah, killing people, that's cool. Like, there's no way. So I'm not big into the research, so most of that, what I just said, was complete speculation, as with all of my videos, so don't take it as fact. I'd encourage you guys to do your own research if you're actually interested in this. But, I'm not that interested in it, so that's my take. Mitch Wright wants to know, where do I go to school? Where do I go to school? I go to the University of Missouri-Columbia. Mizzou, yeah, Big 12, yay, woohoo, yeah, sports, basketball, points and winning, yee. I don't know. I'm not a big sports fan. Everybody here's been going crazy about our basketball team the last day or so, but I'm not that big into it. It's one of those bandwagon things that I would never care if I weren't on the campus seeing it happen around me. But I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with being a bandwagon fan, as long as you're a bandwagon fan, which that's one thing I want to touch on. Bandwagon fans. Like, everybody acts like it's so bad to be a bandwagon fan, but like, what's so wrong with it? What's wrong with getting into the spirit and getting like super excited? That's like getting mad at someone that's really excited about Christmas and saying, where were you being excited about Christmas in the middle of July? You're just a seasonal Christmas celebrationist. You don't actually care about it. You don't actually think and dwell on Christmas all the time like I do. You don't care like I do about Christmas. But, maybe that's a terrible example. But as far as bandwagon fans go, the way I see it, if you want to get excited about something, go for it. But as far as sports go, I'm just not that interested by it, unless it's, an extraneous circumstance. So, nobody even asked me about that. Anyway, moving on. Easy Sparks wants to know, do you have a favorite NBA basketball team? I do not have a favorite NBA basketball team. I could probably name 2 teams. I know that there's the Wizards, I think, and I know the Lakers. Those are the only 2 basketball teams that I know. Let me think. I can probably think of another one. The Heat, is that a one? I'm pretty sure that's a basketball team. Ooh, voice crack. The Jazz, that might be an old team. I don't know if they're still around. I really don't know. No, I already said Magic, didn't I? Damn it! No, I said Wizards. Magic and Wizards, 2 distinct teams. Yes, got it. So yeah, any of those, all of those are my favorites. As you can tell, I clearly have an invested interest in the sport. But anyway, that's all I've got to say for now for this Twitter video. I'm going to try and continue, maybe make a few more of these on this same slew of suggestions that you guys gave me from yesterday, because I really do want to get you guys the answers that you so desire, because I've been on the other end of this, where I've tweeted questions and topics at people that I want them to have answered, and they don't do it, and it's kind of aggravating, so I'm doing my best. Hope you guys understand. If you enjoyed this, please leave a rating. If not, please leave a rating. And if you're going to leave a clever comment about me giving you a high five for subscribing, check the link in the description, because I made a video about it. That's all I got to say, as I always say multiple times before the end of the video, and I love you.